Hey there, it's Richard with Sherwood Motor Cars. Today we're taking a look underneath our 1957 Chevy Bellair. Let's take a look at what we're looking at. So one of the things that is really neat about this car is it's been switched over to a Camaro front clip. So this front suspension has been integrated onto the 57 Chevy frame, and this is what would normally be found on a 70 to 81 Camaro. Lots of advantages to that. Principally, totally updated geometry. 1957 Chevy, of course, came with upper and lower A-arms, but they are archaic by today's standards. They were designed around tall, bias ply, white wall tires. This suspension was designed around radial tires. Great handling out of the box, very upgradable, and best of all, very, very serviceable. Some of the parts that are on this front end are some of the most common and best available GM parts that are out there. So let's take a look at the install. So of course, first thing we're gonna see, definitely a lot more sway bar on here than what you would have seen on a 1957 Chevy. Just good old stock, standard, center link, drag link, pitman arm, all look like they're in nice shape. We have not had a chance to detail this frame yet, so it's you're seeing it just as it is with a little bit of road wear on it. A-arms, everything's in the correct place. Looks like a nice installation. Same as we walk into the back, we can see one of the nice things about these clips and why they're so great on a 57 Chevy is they integrate to the frame width of the stock frame rails really nicely. So we have a nice integration. In a lot of ways, you know, it could have come this way from the factory. So there's not a big, although it is grafted onto the stock frame, there's not a big step, there's not a big Z notch or anything like that. They literally just weld the frame stub onto the 57 Chevy frame. No evidence of any cracking or any fatiguing, and frankly, at the areas where it's welded, it's going to be quite a bit stronger than the factory attachment points. So let's look at the rest of it. What do we have? We've got, first of all, really nice, clean floors. No evidence of rust, no evidence of any structural issues. The rocker panels are quite nice. They've been undercoated at some point in the past. Some of that's still present, but no signs of corrosion. This is what we love to see in a really good high-end street car. Of course, great exhaust. We've got updated diff. This is most likely also out of a Camaro. Rear suspension is standard 57 Chevy Tri-5 leaf springs with a multi-leaf supporting that diff. Nice new fuel tank. Cross member at the rear, that's always a hiding spot for rust on these. It's sort of subject to lots of road debris and stuff that can get in there. But here we see it's super nice, straight, solid, no holes, no issues, just the way it's supposed to be from the factory. Same thing as we examine the inner wheel wells, the quarter panel drop-offs. Once again, more and more solid sheet metal. Just a great foundation for this. In the frame kick-ups where these are subject to corrosion, again, super solid steel, no issues. All the mount holes are correct, factory welds are in place, body mounts likewise, all look really nice and solid, no issues with any of these. Of course, on a Tri-5 you've got body mounts on either side of the frame rail, and it's no different here. Looking at the drivetrain in the truck, we've got our big block Chevy making lots of power. Very typical, you know, a little drip at the oil pan. That looks like it's just maybe the washer at the oil pan. We'll get that addressed if we do an oil change. Other than that, block looks nice and dry. No drips at the front main, no drips at the rear main. Rest of the oil pan looks nice and tight and happy. And the rest, power steering looks nice, no drips out of the radiator. Suspension, of course, has been greased, so there's a little bit of road use and a little bit of road grime there. Steering box looks really great. No schmutz on the fuel pump or the balancer or the bottom of the oil pan. So this is just a really healthy, well put together car. On the transmission pan, we haven't cleaned that off. Looks like maybe just tiniest little sweat from the pan, which is typical, but again, nothing out of the pump seal. Torque converter's nice and dry. Tail shaft housing, same thing, very, very nice. Looks like a fresh drive shaft in it. This would have been, I'm sure, done at the same time as the drivetrain. Nice made in the USA. U-joints. Further back to the diff, again, nice dry pinion seal. No leaks at the bottom of the case. Tubes look good. Shocks are nice and happy. Brakes are happy too. And that's basically our overview of the underside of the 57. If you're looking for a super solid driver Tri-5 car, it's going to be really, really hard to beat one as clean as this.